And we're live. What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny. This is episode 61 of my live stream. Today, we're going to be reacting to the philosophical ideas that drive politics. Now, I wanted to do news, but then this morning I saw a very interesting discussion with Tim Pool on his culture wars. And I think we need a lot more discussions like that. And I think our society will benefit greatly for it. Now, before I get into that video, I want to kind of give my reactions to Joe Biden. It's been 2 weeks, guys. It's been 2 weeks. Trump got a 2 week break from the mainstream media, not focusing on him. So I want to give my little thoughts on that. I'm pretty sure all of you guys, you're very well informed people. I'm pretty sure you guys seen it already around the web. Donald Trump is Biden's vice president. Yes, you heard it here first. Joe Biden has Trump as his VP, and he misgendered him. But hey, you know, it comes with the course. Let's look at this 50-second clip. I know you guys are seeing it around, but I wanted to give my reactions to it initially. So let's take a quick look.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, that I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
They look nervous. Hey, Scotland Scorpion. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you guys appreciate the content, guys. I appreciate you guys supporting me. I know I haven't been really commenting as much as I used to, but just know that I see your comments. I try to my best to get out there and interact with you all. And I want to continue going with this idea because recently I brought up videos like climate change, talking about it. Good morning. I'm on my way to bed soon. Hey, bro. I don't know your time zone, but I appreciate you watching and taking the time out of your day to watch the live stream. I wanted to focus on the ideas and where they come from, right? So liberals, right? Because kind of the focus of this stream is going to be focused on liberal thought. I didn't realize one of the three biggest fears was that Trump might end the Department of Education, one of the essential institutions of our democracy for centuries. And now, I always talk about how democracy, by many people on the left, like socialists, Marxists, communists, they tend to use words and they bend it to have it formed in their favor, right? Our democracy in reality means protecting our interest, our power. Shout out to Scotland. Scotland's out here at, I believe, 12:46. You're 46 after midnight, if I remember, if I reading that correctly. And one of the problems that I have with this argument that the left like to bring up is that the Department of Education wasn't formed until 1979. 1979. And in the US, right? I could show you in the US before, sorry, Jimmy Carter, who is probably known as one of the worst presidents in American history. He created the Department of Education. And before the Department of Education was created, we were number one in education. We were first in education. After the Department of Education, we became number 24, and that was 2008. So we might be even a lot worse than we are today. And make this make sense. What was the purpose of the Department of Education? Regulate education. And to me, regulation means control, right? These are the philosophical ideas that is in our politics. When people use regulation, they make it sound like as if we're all collaborating together and we all just agree to doing something. No, when the government regulates something, it's utilizing force to force an outcome or create an incentive structure to guide or push the society in a certain direction. And I believe as government, this is why I'm a nationalist, it should act in the interest of the common good of its people. Equal treatment across the board. Hey, this is why from a principled perspective, this is why I'm in agreement for flat tax. That's fair. How can I tax one American 40% and I tax another American 10% merely because of the fact that this American makes more money than the other American? I think that's unequal treatment. I think that's discrimination. Just because you could do more doesn't mean that I should burden you more with society's problems. And I think flat tax is a fair system. We all talking about women should get paid the same. There should be no differential between the gender pay gap, but they don't want to talk about the tax gap. Oh, just because I'm using a basketball player here. I'm Jalen Brown and I just got paid $500 million. The government deserves half my money. The government deserves $250 million for what? The government wasn't with me shooting in the gym. but you deserve half my money because I make too much money, according to people. Politics based on greed. And this is some of the philosophical ideas that I wanted to highlight. And one of the scariest things that I think we are in dire need of is a more questioning mind. I think that's the most important takeaway from this video is a questioning mind. The most disturbing thing about MSM turning on Biden is that about half the country in America, shout out to Scotland, in America had to be told by the propagandists it's a problem now, as if we're looking for a signal, right? This is a society of sheep. And the founding fathers warned us. Like, this is what happens when you don't teach history. This is what happens when you don't learn history. This is why I'm a conservative. I believe conservatism roots you in the traditions, aka the history of your country, the ethos of your country, the philosophy of your country, why your country was created the way it was, and to have a respect for it, respect for its history, respect for its traditions, acknowledging it did wrongs, acknowledging when it does right, but look at it from a holistic point of view so that way you can make better decisions in the future. Because you can learn from the mistakes of your ancestors. But we don't do that. The communists come in here, not communists, but the left come in here and they revise history, right? They try to control information, censorship. Few people in the world are more tyrannical than the unelected oligarchical Eurocrats in Brussels that have imposed the West's most repressive online censorship law, comparable to Persian Gulf states, and are now particularly devoted to controlling X's content. Right? I just did a video with Ben Shapiro exposing the woke cartel, the left-wing cartel, right? One of the things that also I've been lately getting on the nerves of liberals and Democrats and progressives, socialists, Marxists especially, is that these people like to pretend that they're some independent thinker, right? Though they like to fancy themselves independent thinkers, the university intellectuals are the most over socialized, the most conformist, the tamest and most domesticated, the most pampered, dependent, and spineless group in America today. And I agree with that because they go along with power, right? If you give them any kind of pushback, they scared of confrontation. They scared of debate. They scared of you questioning their ideas, right? The wokies, as we like to call them over here on this side of the internet. Woke activists oppose California bill making it a felony to purchase sex from children, claiming it will harm the LGBTQ community and people of color. Make it make sense. Let's go back to what I just said. This is the philosophy that guides a lot of people nowadays in our society. They're cowardice. They're spineless. They're the most pampered. Watch this while I was working. It was good. I appreciate it. Right? These people, these communists, these woke activists, this is why they like this. That's why they say, "Oh, we woke. Oh, we what's up? We know what's going on." Appreciate you, Byron. Making sure I said that name's right. You know, I'm working on my names. Wokeness is essentially a fragile ideal because it can't stand up to scrutiny. You go, how is opposing purchasing sex from children anti-LGBTQ, anti-people of color? Or let's take the reverse argument, right? Because my argument is you reverse it. So am I to assume that you're trying to say indirectly that black people like to have sex with children? Are you inadvertently saying that LGBTQ people like to have sex with children? Is that what you're saying, people of the left? Because conservatives ain't talking about, we just say, hey, nobody should be able to purchase sex from children. And you single out a certain group of people. And these, make it make sense, y'all. And these are the same people who are going to sit here, they in their I got a college degree. I got indoctrinated in college. And they wonder why conservatives don't respect the college degree anymore. This is what's happening in America. And then you wonder why people like my friend here from Scotland don't want our mess, our culture to spread in his country. This is why I'm a nationalist. Hey, Scotland culture is Scotland's culture. Americans culture is Americans culture. We can respect each other's boundaries. We can live in unity. We can have alliances on this. But this is why I'm very anti-globalist. This is why I'm not a globalist. Many people on the left are globalists because globalism in reality is a form of socialism, communism. What do communism imagine? They imagine a world where all of us, we're just humans, or we all of one nation. We're the universal man. We're not tied to anybody. We're not tied to anything. We can live anywhere, be anywhere, take fruit from the tree. But it takes work to take care of that tree, right? And when I make the argument that socialism is slavery, people on the left get mad at my commentary. Oh, how can you say socialism is slavery? Capitalism is slavery. Then I make a comparison. I say, okay, in capitalism, if you decide, hey, you get paid what you negotiate, that's capitalism. Isn't that a fair system? Let's say we didn't have society and you bartering. Remember the barter system? You know, you got to go through history to learn that. Leftists don't do that, but they think they're critical thinkers. They think they're smart people. Okay. When you used to barter, you want, hey, I want to get some of your milk from your cow. Oh no, I raised this cow. I protected this cow from wolves. People try to steal my cow. I put a lot of work into preserving that cow. What are you gonna give me? What are you gonna give for the cow? I got some scrap pieces of paper. No, that's not a fair deal. But I'm starving. Give me your milk. No, this is milk that can go to my family. That someone is willing to pay me 2 coins of gold for some milk. And you think I'm supposed to just give you this milk for free? Do I look like you're a slave for you? Do I look like a slave to you? That's what socialists are. That's why I say socialists are looters. Socialists are thieves. They not only they steal your money, which redistribution of wealth, they use envy to justify why it's moral for them to take money from you, steal your resources. Oh, look, you got all this food, you got all this farmland. You can't eat all this farmland. Yo, don't you know winter is coming? I need to be able to save this stuff so I could live on with my family when I can't produce anymore because the conditions are not in my favor. Socialists always want to pretend that society is the problem when in reality it's their mindset. It's their mindset of entitlement. Socialism is a philosophy of entitlement. Period. And that's one of the reasons why I became conservative. Because I understand as a conservative, I was not born by myself. I wasn't born in a vacuum. That's why I wasn't a liberal either. Liberals believe that, oh, my consent is what matters. I'm the sovereign individual. Yes, in a way, but it's a two-way street because you had to be protected until you became that sovereign individual because you wasn't born by yourself. Everyone in this chat, in this world, has a mother and a father. Someone had to take care of them or else they would have died. Imagine this. You just got born. Your mom just gave birth to you. And she said, look at this sovereign individual. We don't want to put our beliefs on him. We don't want to feed him our diet. You know, we don't know if he's vegetarian. We don't know if he's going to be vegan. Let him starve. Sovereign individual. If you're a sovereign individual at 1 month, you're 1 month old, you're dead. So no human can survive on their own. We're social creatures. And you know, guys, I believe in a creator. Now I don't know his name, but I believe in a creator. I'm almost there. And I believe we're programmed that way. So essentially, in my view, if you do things that goes against nature, you're going against your programming, aka your purpose, aka the reason you're put on this earth to be. We're social creatures in the Bible because I was raised in Christianity by my parents. They always used to teach me, hey, God commands you to treat your neighbor as thyself. Okay, so if I don't like the fact that someone's going to steal money from me because I happen to make a certain amount of money, why would I justify it to them? Oh, because it doesn't personally affect me? F that. To hurt somebody is to hurt yourself, right? That's what the Bible teaches, right? The Bible's claim is, hey, these are God's words. Okay, if it's God's words, if it's our creator's words, let's test it out in reality. If I don't do what this Bible says, what are the negative consequences of this action? Reciprocity, like mutual benefit. If someone doesn't mutually benefit from an interaction or a relationship, it will crumble and you'll suffer a negative consequence. That's society. But communists like to pretend, oh my God, society is cramping on people's freedoms. This is the problem with socialists. They only see it from their perspective. And I'm gonna be bashing on liberalism a lot in this video because to me, I believe liberalism is what allowed all of this to come. You guys know Bill Maher. Bill Maher is one of the few liberals that I listen to that I actually respect. I believe he's well mannered, but I believe he takes a lot of things for granted. And one thing liberals are good at, and this is one thing I always give them credit for, liberals are very good at criticizing stuff. But when it comes to putting up solutions, defending their arguments, they're not really too good at. They're not too good at that. Some are not too good at that. And if they are, they're a little bit more on the conservative side of liberalism than the more left progressive wing of liberalism. So here's Bill Maher talking with Elon Musk about free speech because free speech is a very important thing that I like to kind of defend. But my argument here is that liberalism, like, I don't know how to say this. I believe in censorship to like a slight degree. I believe that when it comes to censorship, it has to be a well-defined set of rules. Like everyone needs to know where the line is. That's what makes a conservative different from a liberal. A liberal will be like, hate speech is anything that hurts someone's feelings. The truth hurts someone's feelings. Telling a feminist that men and women are different hurts their feelings. So now is telling them the truth is hate speech? Now, if you told me, hey, hate speech is demonizing someone merely because of their appearance, color of their skin, their race, their sex, their religion, we should not allow discussion like that. Then it's more tolerable because everyone knows, oh, that's the line. But the left like to play, especially progressives and Marxists and socialists, I can go down the line. The more progressive, the worse they are at this. They like to make the line vague. You don't know where the line is. Oh, it's hate speech. It's misinformation, disinformation. Then you ask question, what is that? They make up another vague meaning behind it. And all it essentially comes down to is anything I don't agree with. This is why I made the climate change video. Climate change is an exaggerated problem. I believe that. I don't worry about climate change. I worry about climate danger. Okay, how dangerous is the climate to my survival as a human being? That's the only thing I care about. If it becomes 0.2%, 0.2 degrees hotter than last year, that's not a threat to my life. Why you want me to be anxious over that? When every prediction model that these climate change experts has been putting out since the 1960s has been wrong. They 0 for 60. Imagine someone telling you, I swear I'm gonna get to the video. Imagine someone tell you they're 0 for 60. 0 for 60. That's worse than some of the worst sports teams in history. 0 for 60. And they're sitting here telling you, oh, you should believe me on the next time I say that we're all going to die in 12 years if we don't do something if you don't sign the Green New Deal, if we don't change all of society, if you don't give government all the power to make quick and effective change, comprehensive change to save the lives of our children. And then you hit the 12 years later. Oh, we still here. Hey, look, my kid's 12 years old. And you stop yourself from having kids because you thought the world was going to end in 12 years. Oh my God, dramatica, huh? You're dramatic. Dramatization, bruh. Craziness. I know over there in Ireland, I forget who it was, but I know Australia, they don't tolerate the climate change stuff no more. There's this news anchor. I did a video on climate change. I need to find that video again. There was this like Australian news anchor, and he just go in about the percentage of CO2 emissions. And we only contribute Australia. He was focused on Australia, but I can make this argument for around the world. Australia only contributes 0.04% of carbon emissions. Not even 0.04% of emissions. It's like a fraction of that. And that's what they have you freaking out over. They're going there dismembering monuments, defacing monuments over 0.04 carbon emissions. And then they're going to get mad when I say, oh, yeah, climate change is a religion. Hey, man. Hey, sometimes, the Bible makes sense, bro. The Bible makes claims about human nature. It's spot on. The Bible makes a claim that, hey, you don't replace God. The Bible makes a claim that humans don't remove God. They merely replace him. either with an ideology. This is why a lot of people, politics is their new religion. They'll disassociate with family because they espouse a different political belief. I didn't grow up that way, but hey, many liberals do. The more left wing you are, the more likely you are to disassociate with a family member merely because he disagrees with you on politique. But hey, let's talk about this free speech.
I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters. It's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like, because obviously free speech that you like is
Yes.
that's easy. The thing about censorship is that, sure, for those who would advocate it, just remember at some point that will be turned on you. I really can't emphasize this enough. We must.
Bill Maher is saying yes, yes, and then Bill Maher's coming around, right? He's still not going to vote for Trump, but he's coming around. He's calling the woke stupid. He's calling out their stupidity, the transgender issue, parenting. Hey, who are you to tell these parents how they raise their kids, right? But a part of it, it's coming from more of a, I think, a self-preservation. Because end of the day, liberalism, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like liberalism so much, is that it has an enabling kind of incentive behind it. It enables a lot of the negative things in society to come about. Oh, what? I should be free to watch porn. I'm not hurting nobody. As a conservative, I disagree. As a conservative, let me tell you, simplest way I could describe it. What is the difference between a conservative and a liberal? A liberal care about what he can do. Conservatives care about how it's going to affect society. That's pretty much what it is. This is why conservatives care so much about everyone having kids. You shouldn't abort your baby. That's your baby. You shouldn't kill it just because you think it's a clump of cells. It doesn't matter. It's your baby. Conservatives out here saving people when rationally, it's going to get dark. Rationally, conservatives are outproducing liberals. Like, we have most of the kids. It's heavily documented. Republicans have more kids than liberals. If we let them kill themselves, castrate themselves in a couple generations, this is going to be a conservative country again. But we believe in something greater than ourselves, right? Treat your neighbor as you treat yourself. That's a founding principle because conservatives care about the social aspect of society. We care about the norms. This is why we always talking about people, hey, I need to stop sleeping around. This is why we always opinionated on other people's lives. It's because conservatives care. That's why. Liberals usually only care about themselves. If I'm not hurting nobody, I should be allowed to do it. That's the liberal frame of mind. But then this is how the liberals get, gaslit by the progressives to go along with their crap. Because they'll go, oh, people should be able to do what they want. So should a person be able to be racist? Liberals going to be like, no, because, liberals, they always got to feel like they got to be the good guy. No, I'm not saying that. It's just, free speech. Oh, so if someone says something that it hurts someone's feelings and it causes them to be in suicide, if you don't respect someone's gender pronouns, you're going to make them suicidal. When in reality, even if they do the procedures, they'll still be suicidal. Because at the end of the day, nothing hurts more than you going through all this effort to look like the opposite sex and then still seeing the differences. When women out here getting their period, you pretending to get your period. Women out here just being women, and you got to stick I know it's going to get graphic, but you got to stick something up your you-know-what just to make sure it doesn't heal and close, and you got to go get the surgery over again. You're going to notice these differences. It don't matter if you transition. This is why these people still kill themselves after they transition. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter about how you perceive yourself. It don't matter how you see yourself. Reality wins in the end. I appreciate you, 22 Guru. Yo, you all coming out today. Dance with Incels. I'm the only one that thinks that Connor is creepy into hardcore racism, probably. And Bill CDS is next level. That's his Byron. Hey, so another thing, and I swear I'm gonna get into the video that you all came here for. A new documentary is coming out that claims that Abraham Lincoln may have been gay. Yes, you heard me say it right. The left is at it again. Revisionist history. Oh, y'all didn't see this coming. Yes, a new documentary claims that Abraham Lincoln had a steamy gay sex session with male partners, says Leftist. The new film, Lovers of Men, which examines the intimate life of America's most consequential president. It is set to come out in September 6th. Bro, what? Exactly. What? Bruh, they'll make everything gay. Everything's gay. We'll make everything gay. Like, come on. They couldn't get Pete Buttigieg to be president. So now they're gonna go back in history and say, let's take a letter out of context because back in older times, I don't know, don't quote me. I'm not a historian. But they used to use language a lot differently than we use language today. Right? And I think this is the evidence. They say they had evidence, right? And this is allegedly a letter that Lincoln wrote to one of his male lovers, okay? To me, this is just making shit up off the top of your head. But hey, these historians, a lot of these historians, they lean left. Dear Speed, I shall be very lonesome without you. Love, Lincoln. One run read in the trailer. Speed was Lincoln's friend who he had a friendship with since his youth. So now men can't have like childhood friends without insinuating that it was a possibly a pseudo gay relationship. The movie claims that Lincoln slept with Speed for 4 years. Lover of Men widening its lens into the history of human sexual fluidity and focused on the profound difference between sexual morals of the 19th century and those who hold and those we hold today. The movie's synopsis reads: the film fills in an important missing piece of American history and challenges the audience to consider why we hold such limited view of human sexuality. They really trying to make Abraham Lincoln gay. A Republican Christian man, I think. They trying to make him gay. Make it make sense. When in the debates, this is let me not talk, bro. In the debates, when he was debating, I forgot the guy, Stephen Douglas, the Northern Democrat that was running against him, they literally accused Abraham Lincoln that the only reason he wanted to free the slaves is because he wanted a black wife. That was the argument. Now we're sitting here thinking he's gay. The left is gonna left for you, bro. I swear, bro. Anything to push a narrative. The ridiculousness. Taking a letter out of context. Oh no, you don't hear the romantic undertones behind that? The left read that letter the same way they read into Trump's language. Trump was sending out racial dog whistles behind that speech. Look, I like to make my points, and you guys know I have a tendency to try to hammer my point home, so I repeat myself a little bit, but I'm going back to this right here. Though they like to fancy themselves as independent thinkers, the university's intellectuals, which made that documentary film, I wonder how many of you guys are going to watch it. I bet none of you. Maybe you watch some clips just to make fun of it, but I ain't going to watch it. I'm good over here. You don't got strong evidence. Right? But university intellectuals going to universally intellectual. University intellectuals are the most over socialized, the most conformist. Why they came out now? Why they didn't come out years ago? Because it's cool to bring up the LGBTQ. They're the tamest and the most domesticated, the most pampered, dependent, and spineless group today. Bruh. I wonder what the Susan has to say about this. That Indian man, Dinesh is gonna go off when he finds out about the fact that they try to make a claim that Abraham Lincoln is gay. This is gonna be crazy. Byron says, I'm good. There's no way to prove it, and it's going to be hours of made up ish. Exactly. The same way they made up the fact that the two parties switched. Like, even on its face, okay. And I swear we're gonna go into the video after this little rant of mine because this is the opener. The party switch narrative makes no sense on its face. Why the hell would you want to give a confusion about who was credited for freeing the slaves? Why would you want to take on the name of the party you just beat the hell out of? You whooped them in the war. You beat them on the issues. You had a consequential I guess, monumental moral victory on an issue, why would you want to give them credit along with your name? Make it make sense. That's like the Lakers saying, hey, we want to switch our names with the Miami Heat. And now everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, the Miami Heat won 16 championships. And you said, no, that was the Lakers. You go like, no. They switched. The party switched. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But this is the logic, man. Marxists believe in doublespeak. The idea that you say something about things that's not really the case, and they think is as long as they repeat it over and over and over and over again, eventually you're going to believe it to be true. Just like when Joe Biden's sitting here saying he's fine. Oh, I'm still in the race, right? Yeah, I'm still in the race. I'm still strong.
Breaking this hour, New York Times reporting donors have told the largest pro-Biden super PAC that roughly $90 million in pledges are now frozen if Biden remains at the top of the ticket. But this may only be the beginning. Reports claim a coordinated Democratic rebellion is set to unfold during a brutal 48-hour stretch for Biden. An 18th Democrat lawmaker just called for Biden's exit.
18. Another one. That's all we're going. That's all we. Hey, Trump gonna have another vacation next week. Because look, Democrats are online crying about the fact that, oh my God, y'all covering Biden too much. Where was that same argument for Trump? Conservatives was like, yo, y'all 87% of the news about Trump is negative. Y'all covered Trump since last year. And it just broke the streak today, these following weeks. And Democrats are mad that the media is giving Biden the Trump treatment for 2 weeks, about to be 3 weeks, because boy don't want to step down. He beefing in private with the Obamas. Yo, Democrats, bruh. Ever since Hillary Clinton admitted that there's a public policy and a private policy, I'm like, yo, these people be lying through their teeth, bruh. At least with the Republicans, I know half the party is genuine and half the party is not, but all Democrats are ungenuine. You saw the bill, the SAFE Act? Only 5 Democrats voted for it. The rest said, nah, we want illegals to vote. We want illegals to have the ability to vote with no penalty, with no punishment. The DNC wilding this year, says Byron. I agree. They wilding. They wilding is good. Hey, it's a drama. You can't get away. You're like this. You're like you can't help but just pay attention, right? I had to stop myself from because it got to a point where I was like, yo, I did 3 videos about this Biden situation. Let me stop. But you can't look away. you got to see how it goes up. This is the storyline. This is the storyline from Talks with Kenny. Here's the storyline. Will Biden make it to the convention? Would he have a Mitch McConnell moment? Stay tuned for the Democrat Civil War. This feels like a storyline you watch on TV, bro. Like the plot, it thickens. Biden did a okay job. He stumbled twice. He called Trump his vice president. Then he misgendered her. Then he called Vladimir Zelensky Vladimir Putin. I kind of see how he did because, I'm bad with names. So minute he said Vladimir Putin, minute I say Vladimir, like Zelensky was known as Zelensky. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's his name. That's his first name. I didn't know that was his last name. So they go in Vladimir, and I said Putin in my head. And then he said Zelensky. I was like, oh shoot, his name is Vladimir too? That's crazy. Imagine that. Imagine that war. Vladimir versus Vladimir. Hey man, the world what was it? It's a crazy world we live in. So thanks for watching 34 minutes of me, bringing up random topics. Well, I'm coming for the main event. I'm trying to shorten my segments, not trying to go to too many different stories. I think this is a good format. Let me know what you guys think. Keep it like 4 to 5 stories and then move on to the main thing, because sometimes I would go crazy and I'll be like all over the place and it'll be a 2-hour stream. I don't think a lot of you guys have time for that. So I'm trying to keep it under an hour and 30 minutes. So let's get into the end of liberalism with Carl Benjamin. Carl Benjamin is a guy I found like a long time ago. If you're not familiar with him, I did a reaction video to him. Maybe I'll leave the link to that video in the description of this live stream when I'm done. But he had an interesting video where he said why people love Trump. This is why people love Trump, and he illustrated it in a claim of a story. Trump has to finish his arc, the hero's journey. Trump succeed, Trump stumbles, and then Trump makes a comeback. So he's making this narrative, and it's an interesting narrative. Like, one thing I like about British people, they're very eloquent when they speak. Like, I'm gonna do some reaction videos to like Douglas Murray. You hear how they speak, but they talk. They good at articulating their thoughts, their vision. I'm like, yo. Sometimes I feel like, yo, was I born in the wrong country, bro? Like, yo, these are kind of my people. You sit down, you having political discussions, you talk about philosophy and ish. Actually, I got ahead of myself. I want to break down philosophy terms with you guys. It's not gonna be long. Trust me. I'm not gonna take too much of your time. Well, I'm trying to find it. Sorry, guys. I just had it. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna go into this video about the end of liberalism, why these guys believe that liberalism is the worst thing to ever happen in society, and I tend to agree with them. Let's go. And Scotland Scorpion says, hearing that makes me proud to be British. I appreciate that, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. The way I say, what was it? Not butter. Was it fish and chips? Me and my brother, we always used to try to do the British accent, especially the black ones, when they go, madness, bro, madness. But I digress. Enough of me trying to relate to British people. Let's get into the video.
More fit what we are and where we want to go.
All right. Connor's here as well.
Yes, Connor Tomlinson, also co-host over at lotusthesis.com. Host my own show, Tomlinson Talks, on Wednesday afternoons there. Occasionally pop up in various magazines and on the New Culture Forum and the like. If I were to describe myself, check my Twitter bio at Zoomer Catholic Reactionary, in that order. And my main critiques, I think, will be leveled at the false anthropology of liberalism, namely the blank slate and the state of nature, and how its attitude towards technology causes a antagonistic relationship with culture and creates a...
Now imagine an American trying to articulate all that, bruh. Some of the words he used, I had to look it up. I was like, I never heard these words before, but hey, that's where America came from, essentially, right? Like, they're like the godfather of America, technically, right? All the founding fathers came there. Like, I don't know, British people give me this sense of like they're well read, very intellectual, you know. Like, and I love how they run debates too. Like, I remember I saw what was it, the Oxford debates. Those things, they lit. Hey, I would want to do one, like, one. I forgot her name. I'll do a reaction video to the one I'm talking about. But I remember there was one specifically that it was very memorable for me. I think it was Constantine or something. I think it was Constantine, or was it the guy when he was calling out Pelosi? Those things lit. Hey, I like the format, how they do things. I don't know. I'm geeking out over British culture, but let's get into the video.
The kind of revolutionary dynamism that mandates it homogenize everything to be undifferentiated human mass. As you can tell, I've got real joy about this.
And then Phil's here, of course.
I am Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I am an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary, and I am trying to understand why these two gentlemen, who I so strongly agree with on many points, believe that the seed of liberalism's destruction is in liberalism's birth, and it is something that I'm struggling with. I'm not here to actually... We cast this as a debate.
So I just want to ask the chat, or if you're watching this on a replay, what are your thoughts? Why do you believe that someone would think that liberalism is contradictory, is the seed of its own destruction, right? Why liberalism is based on a false perception? Why would you think someone would have these things? Because at the end of the day, you got to question the source of your ideas. Like, this idea of, oh yeah, consent is all that matters. I said, does it really? You didn't consent to be born? You don't consent to get sick. When a virus comes into you and you're like, the virus go like, can I make you sick, sir, please? No, you can't. No, you can't. You don't have no choice. You have no control over that. You don't control when you die, right? This is why suicide is a sin, because technically you're taking your life on your time, not on God's time, right? You're going against your fate, right? Because you're making the decision to kill yourself, which goes counter to human nature. Right? This is why we believe in this idea that, hey, you shouldn't quit on yourself. You should strive forward no matter how hard it gets. You fight for your survival. But liberalism says, hey, no. If it's consensual, it is just, right? Because they prioritize liberty. And right, and there's a famous saying they always say, just because you can doesn't really necessarily mean you should. I digress.
Debate, but I'm really here to try to understand why they see the liberalism as they do, because I don't see the same promises in liberalism that you were talking about. So we can go ahead and get into this.
Well, I think one way to really kick this off is that the other day when Carl first showed up, and I mentioned I was really excited for this conversation, Carl said he was excited to explain to Phil why he's a communist.
It was me that actually said
Oh, that was you?
Yes, it was.
Oh, sorry.
Because Carl is much more polite than I am.
Yeah, I'm much kinder about it.
But so I know you're joking, but only half joking.
Yes. Only
So
half joking.
how is someone who believes in liberalism actually well, first, the American word liberal, as it's often used, has nothing to do with liberalism.
Yes.
Only on the surface.
In what sense? Because I don't know if we agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that.
No,
they already started. But one thing I find it interesting when a group of men, like, they're talking and they're like the round table. You see, they get like it gets right in the heart of things, right? Because I remember I watched the previous episode before this one. I think it was "What is a Conservative Woman?" And it was a bunch of women talking, and then they had the one guy, I forgot his name, Alex Stein. And I don't know. I couldn't really get into the conversation. I was listening to this the entire time while I was working. And I say, yo, this is a good video to center a discussion around. Because I think society will benefit a lot if we actually discuss a lot of the things that because people nowadays, like I said earlier in this live stream, a lot of people take their politics like religion now. It's like if you said something about Democrats, you hurt their priest. This is why you get all these black women that are out here defending Joe Biden. I'm sorry, I had to make that joke. Because you can't hurt my Lord and Savior Biden. I told you to do Biden. There's a video out there if you get the reference. But this is how people protect these politicians. I don't protect Trump like this. I don't even protect Vivek like this. When people have scrutiny about Vivek, Vivek is swampy to me. He's saying everything I like. I'm like, yo, bro. Someone can't change their mind. This is why I said, hey, I don't think Americans are ready for an honest politician. We got one with Trump, and you see how people are reacting to him, right? But imagine a guy that's smart, articulate like Vivek, bruh. And I feel like Vivek will fit in on this discussion as well. But I just think in the 80s, in American culture, and I'll get back to the video, I promise. In the 80s with Milton Friedman, the Thomas Sowells, I forgot what it's called, Firing Line. They used to host shows. They used to be televised debates for all the masses to see. And that used to be must-watch TV. Oh, you heard? Milton Friedman about to debate a socialist. Word? It was like seeing give me a sporting event that we all go crazy for. It's like seeing Mike Tyson versus some random boxer. You're like, oh yeah, Mike Tyson gonna destroy this dude. That's how the culture used to be in America. And a part of me kind of want that back. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want that back. Because I feel like we were smarter as a society when we had debates. And I guess they figured out that, no, we can't make this population too smart because then it'll be harder to control. And I think this is one of the reasons why they focus so much on repeating the narrative, censorship, right? Why they don't let the other side talk, right? Because they don't want people to be informed about both sides of the issues with their best arguments because they want to craft a narrative, right? I'm reacting to the comment section real quick. Brian says that, I agree. Men tend to get to the point women try to preface by trying not to offend. Yes, I agree with that. We live in a world of soft speak and of no offense. Sorry, I got a heart in the way, so I could read your entire comment. But I agree with that sentiment. I think we lack direct communication. I think right now, social media, and I forgot who made this point. I think it was Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson made this point that females bully very passively, right? They'll say, oh, you look cute in your face, but then when you leave, oh my God, she ugly. While with a dude, it's the opposite. A dude will say, bro, you an ugly dude. And then when you're not around, hey man, this guy's a cool guy. right? That's how, that's the stereotype, right? But stereotypes exist for a reason because it's generally true. I believe that. I believe men are just more direct. Hey, I don't agree. Here's why I don't agree. And women are more like, oh, I respect what you're saying. I respect your ability to abort, but I personally wouldn't abort. They play games like that. While a man will be like, nah, abortion wrong. You killing your kid. You're a deadbeat mom. A man is more likely to do it like that. That's why I think this is why the shows like the Fresh and Fits of the world or whatever podcasts of the world where they have men like kind of debating women. I think that's why it's so popular, because when the men come out and they just talk straight, like the straight shooter, like they don't give a damn about how the girl's going to be offended or feel about what he said. It makes much watch TV because of the reaction of the women going, oh, I can't believe he said that in my face. I mean, I digress. I'm going off topic, but let's get back into why liberalism is bad.
Well, look, I can already see in my mind, you are correct where this goes in the long run. What I mean is if you go to the average person and say liberal or conservative, they're thinking a gray-haired woman wearing a Save the Whales shirt and a guy in a MAGA hat waving an American flag, and they have no concept of the underlying ideologies that bring those people to those positions. So when we say in the media a liberal, they're basically saying someone who voted Democrat.
Exactly.
And you could argue that is a function of what liberalism brought about. I'm saying that most of these people have no idea about the ideology, the underlying principles, and many of them would vote for Donald Trump, as we've seen with these man on the street interviews where they say, how would you feel about someone building a wall to secure the border? And they say, I'm for that. And you're a Democrat? Yes, I am. And okay, well, that was...
Yeah, those videos be the most interesting, because then when you lay out the actual policies of what the candidate is running on, many people tend to agree with Trump on a lot of these issues. Hey, 81% of American voters agree that non-citizens should not be allowed to vote in elections, right? But if you say Trump's the one who said it, all of a sudden their position changed, right? It's the same one. This president did this. And the person go, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Such a horrible human being. And then when the interview says, oh, that was Obama. Oh, well, tribalism. And a part of me, look, as a conservative, conservatives are taught to believe themselves not to be good people inherent. Like conservatives don't believe people are inherently good. And I think that's a more practical way of looking at us. I believe we can be decent people, right? Decent people means you have just as much capacity to do good as you can do evil, right? But the left thinks in human nature in a positive, like, oh, a woman wouldn't lie about grape. A woman wouldn't use and abuse power to get her way, right? When people are saying the Me Too movement, and people are saying, hey, there's a problem with the Me Too movement. False accusations could be an issue. No woman will lie about that. They have this positive perception about humans being naturally good. This is why they like to be soft on crime, because of this philosophical perspective that they have. And this is how they use the issues. Oh, people won't abuse welfare, while conservatives think more on the negative. People can abuse welfare, so we should be limiting it in a way where it's harder for them to abuse it. And this is usually what causes the political clash, right? That's personally how I think about this issue. That's why when the liberals try to paint conservatives as racist, mean, all this ish, I'm like, nah. Conservatives are just practical. As a father, my philosophy is I want to raise strong children, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be around to protect them all the time. I can't protect them from the world. The best I can do is prepare them for the world. I think that's how fathers tend to think. But in general, conservatives understand it. Even conservative women understand this. Hey, men need to be men. Men need some time to themselves, right? Women understand, the conservative women tend to understand gender roles. This is why they generally are happy, right? If you look at the happiness index, I did a video on this a long time ago. Maybe you'll find it on my channel. But I put, hey, liberal women are the least happiest people in the world, or I said in America, because they complain about their social life, their dating life. They're more likely to be on depression. They're more likely to be on therapy. Liberal women. But they're preaching about how, oh, you all should live like us and get the same results you got. Oh, we're good. We good. But this is the philosophy that guides this stuff. They don't want to have kids. They're dinks, sinks. They got to make a name for everything. Damn. Just say, hey, we're a couple with no kids. God damn, that you need I'm a sink and I do this and this and I can make my own money. I don't need no man. Then inflation hit and they're like, damn, I can't do Biden. Because I say, look, a lot of women, y'all too broke to be voting Biden. That's why I'm like, yo, y'all can't afford Biden. That's my joke. That's my line. A lot of us too broke to be voting Biden. People making 6 figures a year are still living paycheck to paycheck and we voting for Biden. You still voting for Biden? I'm gonna do Biden. How that helped you out? What? How black women are the people or the group of people that are the most evicted. That means inflation is gonna hurt their ass the most, but they're the most loyal to the Democratic Party. Make it make sense, because we focus on outcomes, not how you package the policy, not how you present the policy, how you said it with your words. We're looking at the outcome. Men tend to be more practical. This is why stuff is cheaper for men. Women always complain about the pink tax. And I'm like, yo, if you don't buy it, they'll have to force to change their prices or else they lose your business. Women don't see it that way. Women rather complain to get solutions, and men rather do to get solutions. Men get their solutions through action. Women get their solutions through complaining, usually. This is where you get the nagging wife phenomenon. This is why women are more likely to protest on the street. Look at left-wing protesters lately. Women are the most ones yelling about it. I just showed you in the video. Climate change. Who was screaming the loudest? Who's the loudest in the room? A woman. But I digress. Let's continue.
That was Trump's position.
Yeah.
And so people really, it just means tribe. But in the true sense of liberalism, how it got us to this point, the word actually, like, these voters do have a root in that. So let's just start from the beginning then. And why does liberal lead to communist, or where you want to begin?
So the issue is that liberalism makes two promises, which is liberty and equality.
Yep.
But the thing is, these are, of course, contradictory states. Any amount of liberty destroys any amount of equality, and any amount of equality destroys any amount of liberty. And so you would normally have to choose one or the
Exactly. And I agree with that. And as a conservative, right, and I'll put my little 2 cents here, what makes you a conservative is you understand from a practical point of view that you must make a sacrifice, aka there must be a trade-off. You can't have the cake and you can't eat it too. Like you have to pick one. Either I have the cake or I eat it. A liberal says, why not do both? That's liberal thinking. Liberty and equality. These things don't come together, because if you had the most equal society, Scandinavia, the Jordan Peterson talking point, right? Scandinavia, the most equal society agreed upon by the scientific literature, right? Supposedly. They have disproportionate outcomes. Women still do jobs that's stereotypically for women, and men still do jobs that's stereotypically men. Most equal society, you have the ability to do whatever you want, and you still don't got the same outcome. You still don't got equal outcomes. You still don't got parity amongst the genders. Why? Choice. If you're free to choose, then you're free to choose differently. If you want everyone to have the same outcome, you have to exert force. You have to force them to do the same outcome. Hey, all of you are going to be poor because I'm going to take all your money. And then I'm going to distribute the money. I'll say, okay, you get $10, you get $10, you get $10. But if it's freedom, one guy say, hey, I'm going to start a wood logging company. And then he ends up getting hundreds, $200, $300, $500. You're like, yo, he's making more money than us. That's unfair. And he don't work as hard as us. Well, he deployed his capital a lot more effectively than you did. So he got the result. But that's what liberals complain about. They want freedom, but at the same time, they want equality. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Conservatives like, pick one. Liberals lie to you and say you can have both. But in reality, there's never been in human history, to my knowledge, maybe someone can prove me wrong, but I doubt it. To my knowledge, there's never been a society where there was equal parity within the society. There was always those who had more. There was always those who had less. There was always those who were more powerful. There was always those who were weaker. Imagine this. You're a human being. You're born with unique genetic code. No one will be, there will never be another one of you. There was never one before you, and there's never going to be another one after you. You're a unique DNA. You're a unique individual. And you expect unique individuals, billions of unique individuals to have the same outcome, make it make sense. But they say, oh no, girls are socialized into gender roles, when gender roles is just an expression of what is usually expected. Pattern recognition. Humans, we're good at that. We're good at pattern recognition. But if you point out something that appeals to pattern recognition, you get labeled a sexist, a racist. You say, hey, black men commit 50%, almost 50% of the crimes. Black on black crime is the biggest issue in the black community and is the main contributor to black deaths. You're a racist. You're blaming black men. Don't you know it's poverty, you bigot? This is the game liberals play because they believe, oh no, there's no way humans could do evil. They were made to do evil. They were forced to do evil. It was poverty's fault. That's why these black men are stealing and killing. Not just because, no, they found it easier to just take from you instead of working hard and putting the time in to get the outcomes themselves. It's easier to just steal from you. No, they don't think that. They don't think a human will do that. No. Society forced them to do this. This is why they don't like to hold themselves, women, minorities, LGBTQ people accountable for nothing. Because they always got to see everything in the best light. Because they never want to have the idea that they could possibly be evil. And that's the biggest flaw of liberalism. Is that they believe that they can never be evil. I'll never be like Hitler. Antifa, BLM, you just lied. You censored people. You censored dissidents. You call a story that was factual misinformation because it hurt your guy, your leader. You spread propaganda, but then when you get called out for spreading that propaganda, you say, oh no, it was just a simple mistake. But if a right-wing website or news media make a simple mistake, you say, look at these liars. You hold your opponent at a higher standard while you hold your people, your allies, to a lower standard. You give Trump no benefit of the doubt. You give Biden plenty benefit of the doubt. Since 2020, people had questions about Biden's age, but you gave him the benefit of the doubt. But if Trump was stumbling and mumbling and fumbling like Biden, y'all be quick to say, yo, he needs to step down. He's too old for the job. The main reason why people don't trust legacy media is that they apply their standards inconsistently. But to me, that's a part of liberalism. Right? They're tribal. I mean, we're all tribal in a degree, but I think conservatives are humble enough to admit, yeah, we can be tribal sometimes. But liberals pretend, oh yeah, we're objective. We just call it how we see it. We just call it down the middle. Then you look at the results, their actions, and you're like, yo, you cover Trump 87% of the time negatively. How you're being fair? That's not fair. We're just saying the facts. And then you see the facts, and you're like, nah, the facts don't say what you think it says. Because they always got to frame it in a certain way to paint someone in a positive light or a negative light. And that's where the bias comes in. I digress, though.
The other. But the problem that the liberals have is that the original liberals managed to harmonize these two things into the same position by creating a thought experiment called the state of nature. So in the state of nature, it was theorized by Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, Montesquieu, like Hegel, various others, that man must have existed at some point in a pre-social state. So it was individual men and women running around the woods, fighting off animals, eating acorns, things like that. And then they bump into each other, and depending on the sort of disposition of the theorist, would decide what they thought would happen in those interactions. And then each one has their own reason for why man decided, you know what, actually living in the state of nature is difficult or undesirable. Let's all get together and consciously choose to form a society. And from that point onwards, we can start deciding what kind of government we're going to have, what kind of constitution the state should have, and things like that.
Let me pause and just ask you a quick question to elaborate. You said that liberty and equality contradict each other. Could you just give us a simple elaboration of what the function is?
100%. So if I give everyone in the room $10, and I say, right, okay, now you're all equal, well, any amount of economic activity will make you unequal.
So what is it about, how is it that liberalism makes a promise of equality? I understand, and it's my conception that the concept is equality under the law. I don't see where liberalism is making a promise of equality of results.
So when I first saw the video, the immediate thought that came in my head is that we don't treat everyone equally. Like, even with, like, Equal treatment is something that we want the law, right? Hey, if I'm playing basketball, right, I want the ref to call the foul the same way he called the foul down the end. The minute the ref don't call the foul the same way, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna protest. I'm gonna be like, yo, ref, you didn't see he's holding me. You didn't see that, right? We will complain to what? The government, because we expect the government to enforce the what? The rules, the law, the social contract of society, right? But in our personal capacity, and this is where liberals get it wrong, because liberals think, oh, we should let all these people come through the borders. They're seeking asylum. They're running from prosecution. And the conservatives go, yo, we don't have unlimited resources to take care of everybody. We make a practical choice every day in our day-to-day lives. We see a homeless dude, we're like, yo, I need these $5, bro. Like, I need this $5 to stretch another 2 days for that next paycheck to come in, because I can't afford to give, like, this is the treatment that I'm talking about. Liberals have a predisposition and they try to appeal to that, right? Oh, love is love. Not really. An adult can love a child, right? A mom loving her child is different from a stranger loving her child. You're like, yo, what are you trying to do to my kid? You looking at it with a side eye, right? There's an epidemic going on right now. I don't know if you guys notice it, but I keep seeing stories about teachers sleeping with 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds. I saw one story. There was a teacher that was sleeping with an 11-year-old, bribing him with chocolate, and she was buying him stuff, acting like a sugar mama to an 11-year-old child, a teacher, a female teacher. I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? This is what conservatives understand. Conservatives understand, yo, to a degree, discrimination isn't evil. You discriminate when you date somebody. You discriminate when you pick a job, because the reality is, as a human being, you can't do everything. Moderation is the key, right? Moderation is the key, right? Because if you go too much one way, too much one, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's wisdom. Conservatives like to appeal to wisdom. That's probably why I like quotes so much. You don't have control over outside events, only your own mind. Know this and you'll have strength. I can control what happens to me. I only can control how I respond. Conservatives understand the boundaries of what they can't and can't do, and they apply that to the government. Hey, the government can't make everyone rich. The government can't just give everyone health care. The government just can't tax the rich. Imagine taxing people who, at a drop of the hat, they can live anywhere in the world. Imagine you thinking you can get 90% of their money. Imagine that. Conservatives go, hey, let's make it, mutual benefit. Hey, rich people, we will make it. This is the best environment for you to maximize your profits. The rich person said, okay, and then I pay flat tax. Yes, 15%. Everyone pays 15%. No special tax cuts. No single mom designation. Everyone just pays 50%. That's a good environment. I think I'll go there. And the results speak for itself. Republican presidents bring in more tax revenues than Democrat presidents, even though Republican presidents cut taxes. Why? Because you create an incentive. And that's the government's only job. Government's job is to create an incentive. Do we want the government to create an incentive where people are productive, or where people are like a lazy goal, entitled, lazy, right? Incentives work the same way. If I put an incentive where, hey, if you make more than $2,000 a year, not $2,000 a year. If you make more than $2,000 a month, I'm gonna take your welfare away. Where the welfare, the amount of government benefits I'm giving you through welfare is worth a salary of $60K, but I'm gonna stop giving to you once you make what, $24,000 in a year. I'm gonna take the benefits away. What incentive are you doing to that person? You're essentially telling them, hey, don't try to provide for yourself. Stay here and be dependent on me for your food, housing, your daycare. Now they're trying to nationalize healthcare now. They want all the single moms crying now, oh, I can't afford healthcare. I can't afford daycare. I can't work in it. I don't make enough money to afford daycare. Well, you voted Biden, statistically. Now you're complaining about the results of that. I keep hitting this point. Student loan forgiveness. Conservatives, right? Because we know the boundaries. Hey, you wanted freedom? Freedom comes with what? Responsibility. You made the freedom. You made the choice to put yourself in debt because you thought it was a good investment. If you make a bad investment, you have to suffer the consequences of that bad choice. You made your bed, now you have to lay in it. That's conservatives. Liberals go, oh my God, it's so unfair. You didn't know what you were doing. You got duped into the system. But they're the main ones that was pushing student loans, main ones pushing everyone got to go to college. Or Barack Obama, if you go to college, you'll make $1 million a year on average compared to someone who only has a high school diploma. I was graduating when Obama was finishing out his term on his second term. I was graduating high school. I remember keep hearing that. And I'm like, yo, college shouldn't be for everybody. And then people wonder why no one respects the college degree anymore. Why people look at the college institution as an indoctrination camp. I call it the church of the woke. That's what college institutions has become. That's why I bash college so much. That's why I agree with Charlie Kirk. College is a scam. I would inform every young person before they go to college, make an executive decision. Hey, what is the cost for me doing this path? What are my options? Do I have any alternatives? Is there another way I could get the qualifications I need for this job without going to college? If not, okay, how can I minimize my liabilities in going to debt for this stuff? The liberals don't think this way. The liberals think the government should enforce your ability to do whatever you want. Right? If I try to put a standard on my kid, the liberal believe the government should come in and say, no, you shouldn't be teaching your values, Kenny. You shouldn't be teaching your kid about stoicism and how to be a strong young man. No. Your son, if your son wants to cry, let him cry. Don't teach him that he's not helpless. Because essentially that's what you're doing to your kid. When you tell your kid, hey, you're fine. Get up. Get back up. I know you scraped your knee, but you're not dead. You can keep going. Press on. Crying ain't gonna help you because you're teaching your kid in a, not in a very articulate way how not to be helpless, how not to stay a victim. But the government said, no. Expectations put negative mental health. It hurts the mental health of a child. And we see the results of this. We get fragile kids, fragile people that can't handle no type of adversity. The minute adversity hits the door, run to the government. Government, save us. I made a bad choice in college and I don't want to suffer the consequences of my actions, so please bail me out. Then they get student loan forgiveness. Then you find out student loan forgiveness was responsible for 27% of inflation. And then Joe Biden wonder why inflation is so hot in his administration. Because of your government spending. But we have become a society, and this is liberalism's fault. This is why I'm so antagonistic towards liberalism, because liberalism enabled this society, enabled this culture, enabled this thinking. Liberalism cares more about someone's self-esteem, while conservatives care about someone's self-control. Think about it. If you think about it, conservatives care about self-control. Hey, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. We shouldn't tax the rich. Why? Look at the negative effects. You're going to push them away. They're going to move to another country. And then we're going to get hurt because then we have limited job opportunities. We'll get less tax revenue because at the end of the day, the rich pay this much. Is that fair? Conservatives call this something beyond themselves because conservatives believe in duty and responsibility. If you're the kind of person that believes in duty and responsibility, you believe you have a duty to yourself, to your family, to your community, to your country as a whole, you tend to be conservative. Now, if you believe that everything exists for your convenience, for your entitlement, right? You only should be obligated to what you consent to. You tend to be a liberal. I'm telling you, consent is the biggest point about the liberal. And conservatives believe in consent too, but conservatives believe in honor, right? Hey, honor your family, honor your community, honor your country. And these are the philosophical ideas that really drive our politics. If you think about it, I try to simplify as much as I can because I want to be able, if my son asks me about politics, I'm not going to push politics on my kids, by the way. But if he asks me about it, hey, daddy, why you vote for this guy? I say, hey, I may not like his personality. I may think he's too bombastic. But the results is what I care about. A guy could be cursing like a sailor. A guy could look like a bum. But if he does something good, I'm going to praise him for doing something good. I look at his actions. I look at the outcomes. Hey, I'm glad this person was there because he helped me here. But a liberal will say, oh my God, look at this guy. He looks unkempt. Oh my God, I can't trust him. He might steal my car. I'm telling you, man, end of the day, man, politics is not as black as white as like a lot of these people on online trying to make it seem like. We're all really just doing things that we believe to be right, just, and true. And as a society, when we vote as a society, we have to look at, okay, how our society benefits. This is why I say in a society, technically, we should all be like nationalists. We all should be like pro-American. This is why patriotism needs to come back in our country. But our educational institutions try to make our presidents be gay, even though there's not enough evidence for that. Our institutions teach kids to hate being American, see America as a bad guy because you want to keep looking at its flaws instead of its greatness, acting like America was the only place that practiced slavery when it was a universal thing. It was a global thing. Slavery was worldwide, right? These fake academics never teach about how the fact that Africa enslaved their people and sold them as slaves. So you were slaves even before the white man touched Africa. But this is the narrative they feed you because they want you to hate this country. They don't want you to have any allegiance to this country. No loyalty, no duty, no responsibility in this country. And I think this is the biggest part. This is the biggest problem I have with liberalism, because liberalism enabled this. Because like I said, liberals are good critics. They're great at criticizing stuff. Oh my God. Nobody can criticize stuff like a liberal. But in their criticism, they're unable to defend the very structures that allowed them to be who they are in the first place. I'm done rambling. Let's get back into the video.
Because it has a false anthropology of fundamental human sameness. I mean, the direct quote from Locke is that before civilization, human beings existed in perfect freedom and perfect equality. So the idea is that until culture, until different states, until geographies, frankly, intervened, human beings, if they run out the same experiments, would produce the same outcomes. And so this sets up an antagonistic relationship with the liberal state as a kind of compromise. As Carl said, it depends on the disposition of the theorist.
Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry, guys. Internet went weird.
Why the state was formed. Rousseau thought it was out of envy. Locke thought it was out of a necessary compromise to secure property.
So then my disagreement would be that I don't agree with the preconceived notion in liberalism that there was a perfect state of nature where man was all equal. I do understand the idea, as in if men were running around in the woods alone, all men would be
basically equal. Yeah.
Because of the conditions of reality. But that doesn't change the fact that even in that context, there would be different heights, different strengths, different abilities. And so the fundamental, if the argument is if that was the preconception, then I would say I reject that. That's wrong.
Well, so the liberal theorists agreed with you as well. They'd be like, well, yes, there would be different physical powers, but those physical powers would not be so great as to enable one man to, say, monopolize natural resources or something like that. If it's just one guy on his own in the woods, even if he's 10 feet tall and is capable of tearing down trees, he's not really any more, he doesn't really have access to very much more than a guy who's 5'5" and, just has to climb trees to get fruits or something, right? Because equality.
So pretty much, and I want to wrap it up here because I want to close out with my final thoughts. The fact is that liberals care a lot about the outcomes, right? They hate unequal outcomes. They hate the fact that they hate advantages, right? Because it spits in the face of like equal value, right? Oh, all cultures are the same. All cultures should be equally respected. Conservatives don't have that. Conservatives believe in merit. Hey, if it's a good idea, it'll give us a good result. Everyone's going to see value in that good result, and it deserves to have more weight, more status, more money in society. And I think this is the biggest point that liberalism really hates, is the fact that we're not all universally the same, right? You can't just pluck someone out of Ireland and put them in Miami and expect them to just, conform, and everyone's just openly, oh yeah, we'll accept you. No, it's gonna take some time. They got to get used to the environment. They got to adapt, aka assimilate. They got to gain an understanding for the culture, right? When you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do. When you come to America, you do as the Americans do. But liberals have been fighting against their own culture, right? That they don't want people to assimilate. They want people to come in here. They come in here, take economic advantage of America, don't respect its laws, right? All the crime that illegal immigrants from Venezuela is doing to our populace, our women, it cannot stand. Ireland went on a riot because a migrant there raped a young girl. And look at the crime that's happening in our streets. And they get mad. They want to call you conspiracy theory. They want to call you a white supremacist. No, this is what conservatives is. Hey, you got to defend your own. Hey, we can't necessarily blame them. You leaving the door open for them to take advantage of us, and we see that they're trying to take advantage of us. And our government's not really doing anything for our interest. And this is the problem I have mostly with liberals, is that they care so much about themselves that as long as the problem does not personally affect them, doesn't personally affect their community, doesn't personally affect their party, or at best, their party benefits from the people coming over here, even if it's inconvenient for the populace at the time, they don't mind it happening. And this is a big problem with liberalism. That's my beef with liberalism anyway, but I digress. I appreciate you all watching to the end of the live stream. I appreciate your commentary. I appreciate everyone that was in the chat today. I really do appreciate your support. Don't forget to like the video, comment in the comment section below with your favorite segment, what ideas you have. What are your thoughts about the political ideas that drive our politics? Let me know, what was your favorite segment? Was it the Abraham Lincoln might be gay segment? That one was a funny one. I wasn't expecting to see that one, and I thought it would be a good talking point. So I'd like to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys on the next live stream next week. And I gotta find the end button. And peace.